Hello friends, in this video we'll talk about major scandals, political provocations and criminal cases. Let's break down the latest events. What consequences does the Polish politician who supports the Russian army face? What sentence could the Poznan inspectors get for interrogations in Ukrainian offices? And how did the tragic story of the family in Wroclaw end? We'll discuss everything now. Please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Friends, like, support aerodynamics. Greetings to the working class. Hello. Check the notification bell if you know what I mean. It's important. Now let's get down to business. Friends, we have an absolute champion of political provocation, the notorious Polish figure Krzysztof Talwinski. He never used to hide his specific views, let's put it that way. But now he has made a truly monumental gesture. During another trip to Belarus, he bought 20 medical kits, and not only did he buy them, he also made it public. He personally asked the local politician Oleg Gaidukovich to deliver this valuable cargo directly. Where do you think? To the front lines, to the Russian military. On camera, he was beaming as if he personally delivered a trainload of aid. With great pomp, he declared, "We hope the guys in the trenches won't need the medical kits. But if anything happens, they can always count on us." I'm afraid that because of politicians like that, Poland will be the one they'll come to liberate, right? If we put sarcasm aside and look at the facts, this is the first time a Polish politician has so openly and demonstratively gone against Warsaw's official line. And the irony of fate here is that while everyone in the US is fighting over billion-dollar military contracts, Talwinski is trying to play at grand geopolitics by his own methods. Well, by methods like these. Let's see how Polish law enforcement will react to this performance. By the way, you can write in the comments right now. What do you think will happen to him for this, huh? Let me explain. You might say, oh, come on, it's just some first aid kits. Nothing will happen to him. I think nothing will happen either, but maybe I'm wrong, right? Because for these so-called humanitarian missions, consequences can come very quickly. If the Polish prosecutor's office seriously pursues Mr. Talwinski, his humanitarian act of providing first aid kits for others' trenches could quickly become a serious criminal case. Because joking with the state on security matters is a very bad idea, since first and foremost the activist faces Article 141 of the Polish Criminal Code for activities in favor of a foreign army without the ministry's consent. Providing medicines to active military personnel is direct material support for combatants, for which you can get from 3 months to 5 years in prison. Next comes Article 117 of the Criminal Code for supporting an aggressive war, because public promises to always help soldiers on camera, in my opinion, are interpreted unambiguously. Prosecutors can easily add more charges if they want, like bypassing international sanctions or financing terrorism, since the cargo went through pro-government channels in Minsk. I wonder again what will actually happen. The media might make noise about it for 2 days, then stop, and prosecutors will return to their routine work. But I believe that none of the lawyers' stories about mercy for the wounded should be considered at all, because the shipment was intended for the army at the front. That's it. From the point of view of the Polish prosecutors, well, I would have sent him to prison so he could think about it. Well, write your opinion in the comments. Next. Second story. We have fresh news from Poznan where two local political activists, we've talked about them before, Biba and Bob, from the far-right camp decided to play inspectors. They came to the building of the University of Economics, I'm just reminding you briefly. There they found the office of a private legalization company, which is run by a Ukrainian citizen. And right from the entrance, they started checking. They turned on their cameras and they began to pester the girl. Do you support Stepan Bandera? And then they started reciting their usual spiel, saying that Ukraine is hostile, that people there are ungrateful. And in general, why did you come to Poland? Why did you come to Poland? You have your own country. Ukraine, why aren't you at home? Well, I have to give the girl credit. She didn't let the imposter inside. She calmly explained that the company operates legally and she herself respects the Polish people. In her place, I'd have added, except for Biba and Boba. Exactly you. So far, there doesn't seem to be much reason to respect you. But if you have some other information, some reason why you should be respected, well, announce it now. If we put emotions aside and look at the situation again from the perspective of Polish law, what awaits the self-appointed inspectors? That's also a criminal case, right? The activists were detained and charged by the prosecutor's office, and they are being charged under articles about defamation and publicly humiliating someone in a way that harms their business reputation. Because, well, they also thought to upload the video online. Well, what did they expect? They got 2 rubles and must report to their handlers. What's even more important, on top of that, they added a charge for inciting hatred on national grounds. In the end, under Polish criminal law, they face a fine, restriction of freedom, or a very real ticket to the camps, Polish camps, for up to 1 year. Minister of Internal Affairs Marcin Kierwiński. So, this case is, well, getting a lot of attention. He released a statement on social media saying that the police will strictly suppress any aggression based on nationality. Well, we'll see. It's very interesting to see what the verdicts will be when they come out. Because it seems to me that the Polish police are not doing enough in this matter, just a little bit when Ukrainians are being beaten or humiliated in some way. Write in the comments, maybe I'm wrong, and in reality there are already a lot of these sentences. Maybe I just don't see them. Well, something tells me that you won't be able to send me a link, right? Anyway, that's not the point. Next is the third story about Ukrainians, but this one is purely criminal. The Ukrainian father died in a pretrial detention center. Interestingly, the main tragedy occurred much earlier. Sometimes stories like this appear in the news, and in these cases, there's no need for any loaded language because the facts speak for themselves. In Wroclaw, a Ukrainian citizen, Mr. Ivan, died in a detention center. He and his wife were accused of abusing their own 1-year-old daughter. The prosecutor's office is separately investigating the circumstances of his death. According to preliminary data, there are no signs of third-party involvement. A forensic medical examination has been ordered. But the main question in this story is not really what happened in the detention center, although that is also interesting. The case became known back in January, when a 1-year-old girl was brought to the hospital in extremely serious condition. Doctors fought for her life for several months, but unfortunately, the child passed away in early April. According to investigators, the parents repeatedly failed to correct their behavior, neglected their responsibilities, used violence, ignored the child's condition, and failed to provide timely medical care. They didn't even follow basic care requirements. They failed to take necessary action for their daughter's chronic illness. It was these actions, according to investigators, that led to the tragic consequences. Well, what can I say, friends? By the way, I have another question. Maybe these people aren't right in the head, so they should be checked too. Totally insane, totally insane. Because after the child's death, the charge was reclassified to a more serious one. In addition, the investigation announced another incident, abuse of the family's second daughter, who is now 5 years old, an interesting and very telling detail. Mommy had previously been prosecuted for crimes related to violence against a helpless person. She may not be completely healthy, both literally and figuratively. Moreover, the issue of restricting parental rights had already been considered for the family, and a representative was appointed for the children in the relevant proceedings. Now, the case of the dad, let's call him the dad, regarding Ivan is effectively closed due to his death. But the investigation regarding his wife, the trembling one, is ongoing. If guilt is proven in court, Polish law provides for punishment up to life imprisonment. Well, of course, this is a philosophical question. Whether it's deserved or not, now he'll be living off the taxpayers. How do you say it correctly in Russian? Taxpayers, yes. Honestly, in this story, there are no political undertones or grand symbols. There is only a chain of decisions made by adults, and most likely not entirely healthy ones. I'm not justifying it, just explaining why it happened. The result was the death of a child, yes. Well, what comes next? The investigation and the court. This is sad news, my friends, but please don't be upset, because there will be more. There will be good news. On Saturday or Sunday, there will be an episode with only good news from Poland. We'll look for something positive. So, greetings to the tractor drivers. I promise to greet the tractor drivers. To the turners, milling machine operators, the working class, a big proletarian greeting to all of you. Hit like, leave your comments. Friends, that's all for now. Until we meet again.